Hey all, today we're going to talk about EvolveAI, a long-term review that I have. I've been using it since December 2023. I've really enjoyed it. As usual, I'm going to have the chapters in the description, so if you'd like to watch the whole video, definitely do so. But if you do want to and just kind of skip around to the sections that you want, that is all right as well. So this is going to be all EvolveAI today, so let's get to it. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about cost, because I know that's probably the first thing that people wonder about. Is this app going to be worth it? Does it cost a lot of money? Does it really make sense for me? So to start off, you do get a 2-week free trial, no obligation. So you could just go in there and try it for 2 weeks, try out the app and see if it is for you. After that, you can subscribe month by month basis, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here. So every month, if you just do it with, just month by month, it's $14.99, which, to me, it does seem pretty reasonable for what you're getting based on my use of it so far. Outside of that, there are a couple of other different options. So if you did the 6-month plan, which you pay 6 months in advance, it'll be $77.99, which comes out to $12.99 per month. And then that'll basically save you $2 versus doing the month by month. And then if you're like me and like to pay in advance a little bit more, so then it keeps me more motivated, you could do the 1 year in advance, which is $131.99. And by month, it ends up being $10.99. I'm just the type of person that, if I think I'm going to use the app and I'm going to keep motivated, I'm going to pay in advance because I want to make sure that I'm getting my money's worth. There's a lot of other apps out there that are probably a little bit more expensive, a little less expensive, but for the prices that they offer, I do think it's a very good value. Let's talk a little bit about who this app is actually aimed for. So really the app is main primary focus is for powerlifters. Anybody that wants to get their deadlift, their squat, and their bench higher. Also too, it kind of makes me think it'd be really great for football players, collegiate athletics, that they made us do a lot of bench press. They made us do a lot of squats. They also they made us do a little bit of deadlift, but they actually made us do a little bit more hang clean and cleans. Those aren't necessarily lifts that you could integrate into this program because it is a little bit more rigid. Also to anybody that wants to be, in athletics that has to, continue to build on their strength, I think this is a really good program for base building. Also, it would be for people that were just starting out lifting that want to have a very simple program that's going to give you some progress, which I know you can with anything, but the way that it's presented is really well done. Who it's not for bodybuilders. So there is a section in there that says you can go in and update your programming to be like 70% bodybuilding and 30% powerlifting. But based on my experience with it, it really hasn't been the case. There's not a way to add on extra workout accessory lifts or anything into the app as well, which is no big deal. You could just do those anyways, but it's not really geared towards bodybuilding. The primary focus is power building. Hey everyone, I'm using my GHD as it was intended, as a resting place. No, I'm just kidding. I've actually used this a lot, and I'll do a full review probably in like 3 or 4 months after I use it a lot more. But I just wanted to use this little time to set up the next section that's going to come up. So this is all going to be talking about how to use the app. I'll talk through it as I go through. It's just dead simple to use, and I really do love it. So here we go. Let's check it out. So now we're going to go through kind of how the app looks. You'll see up on the screen here that I have the app pulled up, and I'm going through and I'm adjusting my lifts. So on one side I have like dumbbell bench. I'm going through and putting in the weights that I did, also the amount of reps, and then the reps in reserve. You go through and you just press your plus or minus, and then you put your weights in there. If you want to change your overall lifts, you can definitely do that. But it's pretty easy. It's pretty self-explanatory process. On the left-hand side there, I have my chin-ups, and I'm putting how much I did. Did I do body weight? You could also add weights in there, or if you have bands as well, you just kind of see. But it is a very simplified process, and it does have what lifts you're going to be doing. You kind of scroll down and you check them off as you go through there. Also too, on the right hand side there, you could see that you could put in some notes. So you can go back and look at them. It's not necessarily like the easiest thing to do after the fact, but you have them in there if you want to look at your history. Lastly here, you're going to see a screenshot. So I have everything all filled out. I'm just going to scroll up really fast here so you can kind of see what's happening. So incline bench, chin ups, here's the RPEs you're supposed to do them at, dumbbell lateral raise, chest supported rows on my Pritchett pad, which I really love, dumbbell bench, spider curls, and then the combination GHD sit-ups. So from here, after you're all done, you just press finish. You could put in some notes if you'd like, and it tells you how long it took you to do that workout. So for me, yesterday, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Today is actually going to be a little bit longer because it's more of a leg day focused. Put in some notes in here so then you can go back and look at them. And then as soon as you do this, you could go in and, press finish workout or complete your workout that you have on the screen there. And then what it will do is it'll just process that work based on how you set the session difficulty, as well as how you did your reps and reserves and everything like that. And then it's going to give you like a nice little review spreadsheet here of what's everything in there. And then lastly, not least, you just go back to the main page. So in this section, we're going to talk about the 2 improvements that they made since the app has been launched. They haven't charged anything extra for doing these. They just as like an addition. So the one thing that they did early on was intensity levels. So when you first got the app, the intensity levels were basically exactly the same template. But after they did the update, you have 3 intensity levels now. You have basically high intensity, low reps, and then the lowest one is low intensity, high reps. And then they have one that's right in the middle, which I do. It's nice to have a little bit of flexibility within the framework. Even if you don't change it at all, at least it's there. The other one, which is pretty major for them, is they did add the nutrition element into it. So you can now track your nutrition and you could track your macros inside of the lifting app, which is really cool because, I'm still a MyFitnessPal person until they continue to do updates on it. But it's really nice to be able to go into one particular app because we all know like less is more a lot of times. So they're continuing to do development on this, and I know they're probably going to come out with some additional updates to the app and the program and etc. But those are the 2 major app changes that they've had since it's been launched. And the price point has stayed exactly the same. So that's nice because they're not actually charging you anything additional for doing that. With any review, there's always a cons section, and I have a couple of them that I just want to talk about that I've mentioned before in previous videos. So if you've seen those, it probably shouldn't be a surprise to you. So the first one that's just like a huge one to me is pushing the weeks forward and pulling the weeks back. As we all know, life happens, and when we have a vacation or we get sick, we would like to continue our training on the same block that we're on. As it sits now currently, you could definitely just skip that week and then it'll just go on to the next week. But I don't know very many people that are okay with just skipping a whole block. They would rather just move it forward. So my suggestion is just to be able to, hey, I'm going to be gone. I'm not going to be able to lift this week. Let me just move that week forward. And then when I come back and I look at the app, it's actually on the right date. Because right now, if you don't do anything with the app and you come back and you start working out, let's just say it's the 21st today. You look at the app and you're like, oh, I wasn't able to work out last week, and it still says the 14th. Well, it's not a really huge deal. It's just kind of annoying that, you can't just move the date ahead. So there is a training cycling app that I used to use all the time called Trainer Road that does this really, really well. You can push weeks ahead and you can pull weeks back. So EvolveAI, if you're actually watching this, please look at that and try to implement it. I know it's probably not easy. The other one that I'm kind of talked about before is just the PRs. It would be really cool, like in the app, is in the top right hand side, if you have the little 3 lines there, that you could just have the pull down and you would just have a little section for PRs. I'm not necessarily talking about every single lift that you do. I'm just really talking about the top 3 lifts, your bench, your squat, and your deadlift. It would be really cool to have it in there because I'm going to show a little video here on how you actually go through and find your PR now. So you have to click on the workout. You have to click on the actual lift that you're going to do. So let's just say squat. And then you have to click on the little eye. You got to go into it. Then you got to click on your history and go down and kind of just look at them. Yes, yes, yes. I know. I could just put it on a whiteboard, or I could just write it down somewhere, and that's much easier. But I think this would be a really cool area that would just be able to find your PRs right there. Or even better yet, have a top 5 section where you could customize what PRs you want to see by the lifts that are important to you. So there's just 2 little things that I would love to see updated. And they're probably not little, but they're just wish list items for me. So let's wrap this up and I'll tell you exactly what my thoughts are. You can kind of tell that I'm really happy with the app that I've been using since December 2022. I was looking for something to get back in my fitness and get back into lifting weights because it has been 10 plus years since I've actually lifted weights any amount of time. I've been cycling, I've been running, I've been doing other things, but this app has been really great because it's dead simple to use, relatively cheap, and it really works if you kind of put your mind to it. But I think any program can work too if you put your mind to it as well. And for me, I don't like doing spreadsheets, so this actually works out perfectly, and I believe the value is there. There's a couple small things that I mentioned that I want to get changed if in the best case scenario, but I don't really see them happening. It's just me as a user kind of wanting to do this. But if you're really looking to get back into fitness, I think you should check this app out. At least give the 2-week trial a try. I'm not paid by EvolveAI at all. These are my own thoughts and what I think of it and just my experience that since I've been using it. So if you've lasted this long, please do me a favor, like this video and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing some more review videos in the future. I hope this helps out, and I'm going to be exploring other programming as well. And then lastly, I am still on the fence if I'm going to resub back in December when my yearly subscription comes up. I'm about 80% sure that I'm going to. The reason I'm probably not going to on the 20% side is because I want to do more bodybuilding style focused programming. I know I could kind of tweak this to do that, but there's not really a template in here that actually can make me do that. So that's probably the only downside to this program if you're looking for other things. It's not impossible to do. It's a great program by any means, but thanks again for joining me today, and you all have a great rest of your week.